Well, man, I would love to see some sort of way to find the silver lining.
Yeah.
I really struggled with that because I didn't know what that was. I mean, it's clear that, and I don't want to hammer names here, so I'm just going to say the victim. It's clear that she's going to get paid, and Vince will write a check punitively. I mean, I think that's a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, I don't understand all that. I mean, I don't. It's
But the word traffic being used in a civil suit caught me off guard, and that WWE was named, not good. And we've heard a few months ago that allegedly the feds raided Vince's house. Feds aren't usually involved in civil suits, so this feels like there could be more to follow. And I guess what I'm trying to hope for, I'm hoping, as unrealistic as this sounds, I'd like to be the delusional optimist, think the best of people, and I'd hope that these are isolated incidents. I would hope that this really horrible behavior started when he was in his 70s. I would hope that there wouldn't be a whole bunch of new accusations come forward like we saw in the past with really powerful people like Bill Cosby or Harvey Weinstein. But I gave up on Santa Claus a few years ago. I just feel like it's obvious that there's going to be more. And I hate that because, and I want to talk about this because I know you have a unique experience with this. I think on some level, when you read those 67 pages, when you pick your jaw up off the floor, your takeaway will be there's some mental illness at play here. And I don't know if you heard about it, but 5 or 6 years ago, there was talk and discussion of making a Vince McMahon movie, and he was working with some script writers, and some people got their hands on those rough drafts. And in the early formative years of Vince's life, boy, he suffered greatly in the sexual trauma department. And it doesn't feel like it was ever maybe properly addressed. And now maybe he's just lived with it his entire life. I'm not trying to make Vince the victim here. I'm just saying, I hope that because that used to not be a conversation, Jeff. People didn't talk about stuff like this. Now with mental health, I mean, I don't even remember hearing that when I was a kid, mental health.
No.
So we're getting better. We need to have more conversations, but I don't know how we get to where those documents were without some sort of mental illness. I'm saying all that to say I'm really proud that she spoke up and came forward. It took a lot of bravery. I hope if there's anyone else who's been affected in the same way, they'll do the same. But I hope most importantly, we try to be better. This hasn't happened yet, and I hope it doesn't. But boy, 25 years ago, it became real in fashion to make Monica Lewinsky jokes. That was not cool then, and it's not cool now. And I hope we don't do that here.
It's sick.
And I understand you're not thinking about everybody else involved. Because when Vince was, in his mind, only quote unquote hurting this victim, man, as sad as and scary as this sounds now, his actual wife has to read this, his daughter, his grandkids, people he's done business with, lifelong friends. Like, I want to be on your line of thinking. I want to find that silver lining. I want to hope there is a way that he can turn this around and redeem himself. But I hope
there is.
I hope that those around him find a way to move on and move forward and find the peace and contentment that everyone strives for. But golly, what an insurmountable task. And in the scheme of things, how silly is it to even talk about wrestling, which is why I want to do this at the end, because it's going to be real hard for me to get excited about talking about, does Cody win at WrestleMania? Because yes, it's important, but my goodness, man, the collateral damage of professional wrestling, I don't think has ever really been examined the way it's about to be examined in the coming months. It's crazy. 2024, dude. What the fuck?
It's only the 29th.
I mean, Bill Belichick's gone from the Patriots. Nick Saban's retired. Vince McMahon's out of WWE. Taylor Swift's in the Super Bowl. I'm in more wrestling Hall of Fames than Vince McMahon will ever be now. What?
I knew it. I mean, it's life. I mean, one thing is for certain: change.
Yeah.
Period. You
Well,
never know where it's going to come. I mean, nobody had it on their bingo card for, oh God, so many different things. I'm not only want to address the Vince situation on that. Just you just never know what life's going to bring at you, and it really, I don't know, Connie. I don't even know really. Yeah, you said it. Not a lot of gumption. I love my world listeners. I love interacting with them in person, online, text, blah 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 blah. This episode, it is the business. I don't think we're being dramatic. It's changed forever, in not all negative ways. There's a lot of positive in there, but it is a new day. But nobody. It is kind of. It's hard for me to wrap my head around all of it. I used the term that I learned 6 years ago. Let's process this. If you process things and really am honest with yourself, there becomes kind of a light on certain things, and you go, okay, well, there's only one thing left to do: roll up your sleeves and go to work. And there's a lot of work with a lot of folks that are in front of them. That's not going to be easy. It's just not. I mean,
I hate it too because it feels like there's probably more than one divorce as a result of this.
oh Lord.
Probably lots of lawsuits, probably lots of settlements.
Oh boy.
And you got to assume there's criminal stuff too. I just, golly, man, and I know that for Benoit, people would say, can you separate the art from the artist? That's going to be hard for me on this one, man.
Mm.
Because, I think I was able to reconcile the Benoit stuff. I hate to make such a comparison because I realize they're different things. But when I think about sort of persona non grata in wrestling, it's got to be them now above maybe all others. But I want to think that was CTE and that wasn't really him and yada, yada, yada. I don't know how to do that with Vince yet.
Time changes. It does. I've got personal experience. I mean, look, if we're going to get really peeling the layers of the onion back, and that's what recovery was all about for me. And I'm not talking about just the last 6 years. I'm talking about my earliest childhood memories were discussed. And I mean, really peeling the layers of the onion back and understanding that it didn't take me 6 months to walk into this mess. It took me 30 years to really unpack. It took me a lot of times to walk into the dark place that I got myself in 2017. I mean, a lot of years. Multiple times should have been dead. Multiple times. I don't want to get into all that, but I mean, it didn't happen overnight. So you're not going to walk back out of the woods overnight either. It's time. It is a fascinating process, but nothing happens unless you make the decision, I'm changing. And I'm not talking about Vince. I'm talking about all parties involved. What are you going to do to make a positive change?